Beautiful. Okay, just making sure this is all good. Lovely. All right, lads. I was just double checking everyone's getting in here. Beautiful to see. Deadline stream game week 1. I'm actually so hyped. Come on, lads. Start of the Prem season is just around the corner. Today, I'm going to be going over my team. I'm going to be going over predicted lineups on Fantasy Football Fix. Lads, if you want to get Fantasy Football Fix, click the top link in our description. It's the FPLflare 51. I'll go through some awesome features that Fix have. We'll be going through that. We'll be going through some Twitter news as well. I'll pull up my boys down at FF Scout as well. They've always got the nice team news ready to go. We'll go through everything, suss out everyone's teams. As always, guys, drop questions in the comments if you have anything. Do you want to add in any comments, all that type of stuff, lads? We're going to go through everything. Hopefully, we can get it done before the deadline stream. I haven't seen too much recent activity around late team news. Obviously, Kane is not playing for Spurs. He's off to Bayern Munich. That one got confirmed. A couple of other little bits of injury news. Otherwise, not too much to know. I think Zinchenko could be missing game week 1 potentially. I think Timber played left back in the in the game against Man City, so I think Timber's going to be playing left back ahead of Arsenal. I'll go through all the predicted lineups as well as I say that. Bit of shambles down at Chelsea right now. A lot of people looking at Kepa. It's going to be interesting to see who starts over between them and between Kepa and Sanchez. Ray, mate, how you going? Do I go for Salah or make money and go Gakpo, Trent, and another midfielder? I'm stuck between that. Look, it's going to be tough to see what Liverpool's predicted team's going to be like. I'll actually pull up Liverpool's predicted lineup right now. Lads, if you want to see the predicted lineups, this is a premium feature on Fantasy Football Fix. It's really, really cool. This is currently Liverpool's predicted lineup here. They got Gakpo at 87% chance, Nunes 33%. They've got Diaz at 40%. He's a bit of a doubt. McAllister's in there in the midfield. It's a pretty standard defence and goalkeeper, but it looks like Gakpo could be getting the nod. I'll go over my team in just a second. Here is my current squad. I actually do have Salah in my team. I'm pretty happy with the side, to be honest. There isn't any injury concerns with this team. Henry and Mbeumo just got cleared of their yellow flag, which is good to see. They're both fully good to go. There wasn't really any concerns around them. Any major concerns around them, to be honest. Who is definitely in the Spurs back line? Have Pedro Porro, not 100% sure. Let's have a look at the Spurs predicted team. I think Pedro Porro should definitely be starting. I think it's probably, yeah, it is, isn't it? Porro 41%. Emerson Royale 56. They got Dyer, Romero, Perisic at 76. Look, I think Porro will get the nod just because he was looking good in pre-season. But yeah, obviously this predicted lineup hasn't updated for Kane just yet, but I think Richarlison will be playing in that role anyway, so it's probably going to be Madison, Kulu, Son, Richarlison. Shivam, do I pick Szoboszlai as a punt? I'm not a massive fan of him. I don't think he's be able to get that many FPL returns. I'm not sure about his positioning. He didn't score a massive amount in the Bundesliga either. I'm not sure he's going to be getting that far forward, to be honest, from open play for Liverpool. I don't think he's worth a punt. His minutes are also in a little bit of a doubt as well. He's not currently in their predicted team, but I wouldn't be surprised if he features. But I'll probably be sticking clear. Right now, I like Gakpo. Diaz is a bit risky. Nunez had a great preseason, so I think he's close to getting the nod. I wouldn't go for McAllister. Salah, obviously, we know what he's going to be doing. Opinions on Richarlison, have him in my team over a 6.5. Yeah, obviously Richarlison should be playing in striker for Spurs, so I think he could be a really good option. I definitely think he is going to be starting in striker. Obviously, it's got Kane 96%, but Richarlison will definitely be slotting in there for sure. He's their main, he's really the only recognised striker in that attack now. So I think Richarlison is definitely worth the punt. Now that he's a midfielder as well, I could look to get Richarlison to our team, but we have 0 left in the bank, and I'm happy with Mbeumo and Matoma. The only thing that I am potentially tossing up is this slot here with Matoma, because he hasn't been great in the pre-season for Brighton, to be honest. And speaking of lads that have been good in pre-season, this man here, Eberechi Eze, has been superb for Crystal Palace. Picked up bucket loads of goals and assists. Has Sheffield away game week 1. Arsenal at home game week 2, not the easiest fixture. Brentford away is pretty good. Wolves at home is pretty good. Villa away and Fulham at home are all pretty good in the first 6 weeks. But he's obviously a lot more of a punt. 18% ownership compared to Matoma, who is one of the most popular mids in the game. 3rd most popular. I think it's quite risky having Eze in over Matoma, just because if Matoma scores well, it's quite damaging to the rank. It's interesting to see Salah's got a very similar ownership to Fernandes. Fernandes is the only real highly owned player that I don't have in this squad. He's the one that I've had to get rid of to have Salah in the team. So we'll see about that. We could do Kabore to Baldock as well. That could be the other potential move that we look to make at this current stage. Stone's a very popular defender. I'm not a massive fan of him. Neither am I a fan of Trippier, just based off his fixtures. Will Foden start? Look, based off the Community Shield, I'm not a massive fan of Foden, but he does have a really high predicted chance to start according to this team here. But so it's tough to say, because obviously De Bruyne, he came off the bench. He's definitely going to be good to go. I wouldn't be surprised if Bernardo Silva plays on this side instead of Foden. Grealish is pretty locked on that side. Kovacic, I mean, the other thing that could happen here is Kovacic goes instead of Stones. Stones maybe drops back to centre back. Either Ake or Akanji drop out. Then either Alvarez or Bernardo Silva come into this slot here. But I think it's just too much of a risk with Foden, to be honest. If I had to put my money on yes or no, I'd honestly be leaning towards no, despite Fantasy Football Fix having him at a good chance to start. I don't know what to do with the striker, Watkins or João Pedro or Alvarez. I think Alvarez is a little bit too risky of a punt, in my opinion. I'd probably be going for Watkins, but I think João Pedro is a good option. I've got him in my team just because he allows me to spend a lot of money around the squad. He's got good fixtures to start. He should be starting for Brighton. Has had a pretty good season, pre-season. 3 excellent fixtures to start. And he does make it a lot easier for me to have Mo Salah. That's why I have João Pedro. Obviously, if I had the money, I would prefer Watkins for sure, I reckon. Is Mbeumo confirmed to be fit? Yeah, he's had his flag removed by FPL. I didn't think there was too many doubts around it anyway when he was flagged. Hopefully they have any manager comments. Of course, we need to assess them over the next couple of days with dead leg. That's why I subbed off early. We're not taking any risks, so you'd probably think he's good to go. I think he should be good to go. It's the fact that they've said it's not taking any risks. I'd be leaning towards Mbeumo being good to go, but hey, I think he's going to be a great pick this season. 6.5, he's on pens to start the season for Brentford, and they have really good fixtures as well. I definitely do prefer him to Matoma. I actually have Matoma in my team quite a lot throughout pre-season, but I have switched to Mbeumo, seeing him on the PKs. He scored his PK as well throughout pre-season. And yeah, really, really good fixtures to start the year. Spurs at home, not even a bad fixture, to be honest. Fulham, Palace, Bournemouth, 3 elite fixtures. Newcastle away is tough. Man U away is tough. only the two real difficult fixtures in his first 9 game weeks. I think Mbeumo can make a very fast start to the season. I think the only toss-up that I have right now is this 4.0 slot here in Kabore, and then Matoma as well. Mark, do you do team reviews? Yeah, man, of course. Drop your team in the comments. I'll review it as well. No worries. I'll see if there's also any manager comments on Brentford. I don't believe there was when I last checked. Oh, here we are. Brandon Brumo has recovered from a dead leg and will start game week 1 according to Thomas Frank. Rico Henry will also start. Josh De Silva and Norgard are available. There you are. That's the answer to the question from Seth. That's pretty much locked it in, so that's good to see. I'm a big fan of that because I have both those lads in my team. I think Henry's a really good option as well. I think he's my favourite 4.5 defender to start the season. A fairly decent XA for a 4.5 player last year. He is in fullback as well. Picked up 3 assists, not bad. And Brentford's defence were pretty solid. He picked up 11 clean sheets last season, scored over 100 points, which is nice. And I think he has some good fixtures. I do prefer him a lot to Botman. Botman is nice. He's a very popular option at 4.5. I believe he's the highest owned 4.5 player, 19.8%. Yeah, he's a lot higher owned than some of those other lads. João Pedro's ownership snuck up a lot actually recently. I haven't been paying too much attention to the forward ownership, but he's really shot up. I think he's going to be a good pick. That's also a reason that I'm doubting whether I want to have Matoma, because I already have João Pedro in the forward line. Like, do I need to double up on the Brighton attack? I don't know if it's worth it, you know. I think these two are my slots that I'm a little bit wary about right now. I'm sort of debating. Opinions on Alvarez for Man City. I actually do think he's going to start. He's not in Man City's predicted team, but I actually think he's a chance for some minutes to start the season. I reckon, looking at this predicted lineup here, I think Stones could drop back to centre-back and either Ake or Akanji drop out. Kovacic will probably play DM with Rodri. And then maybe Alvarez could come into this slot here where Kovacic is. And then, yeah, this Foden slot, I think that's probably going to be between Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden for that spot out there. Seth, I remember you were the first ever FPL YouTuber I watched. I think it was the start of the 21-22 season. Yeah, it would have been. That was like the first year we started doing FPL YouTube. Wow. Yeah, that's actually so long ago, you know. I remember that's when we were doing like graphics on the iPad and everything. Like we screen recorded the FPL page on the iPad. Yeah, bro. Oh, that was actually sick. That was so long ago. It feels like so long ago. Yeah, that's actually awesome, bro. I appreciate you for watching for that long, for real. That's good as. Yeah, but I think, yeah, Alvarez, I do think he's going to start, but he's definitely a very risky pick. But also, yeah, also this 4.0 slot. I'll just double check Luton's predicted team. I don't think a boy was in there last time I had a look. They've still got Doherty and Gills there, so interesting. Bell's, you know, 100% chance to play. I'll just check. I don't know if Luton have put out any team news here. I don't believe they have. Baldock is quite a popular 4.0 option as well. A lot of people seem to be going to him. I checked Sheffield's predicted team. They've got a pretty good Game Week 1 fixture. I reckon Sheffield Crystal Palace will be pretty low scoring. Just depends. Yeah, I believe there is an injury in that position where Baldock is right now, so he should be getting minutes to start the season. 100% chance to play, according to Fix. They've got a good couple of fixtures to start. Crystal Palace, Forest, Everton at home as well. I don't mind making that move for now. And it's just depending on whether I keep Matoma. That is the only concern I have left for this team, to be honest. I'm pretty happy. I'm happy that I've been able to work in Salah there. And also, not having Trent is not a big deal, to be honest. Not many people actually do have him anymore. So I filtered that by team selected. 19.1% ownership for Trent. So even if he scores well, not very damaging to the rank. I'm not too fussed about that. We've got some good differentials in there. Chilwell's a big differential. And Mbeumo's actually a pretty solid differential. Not anywhere to be seen in these top owned midfielders list. And he has been given the green light by Thomas Frank to start. as well as Rico Henry, which is good to see. Saka. Salah's also a decent differential as well, 27%. A lot of people could flock to get him in if he makes a good start, and because if he does score against Chelsea, he always has good game week ones. Mo Salah. I'm praying that he can continue the game week 1 goal scoring streak, because he's got Bournemouth at home game week 2. I reckon he's a chance for a price rise if he scores game week 1, because everyone's going to want to get him in for Bournemouth game week 2. Rashford pretty standard, Saka standard. João Pedro has become fairly template as well, 25% ownership nearly. His ownership's shot up in the last couple of days, or even just in the last day, really. Watkins also quite popular. But I think I've got a good mix. I've got a good mix of template picks. I've got a solid mix of differentials. The only other move that I could potentially do is Matoma to Eze, just based off the pre-season, is what I'd say. Mark Johnston, Turner. I like Turner as a 4. That's a great point that you make there. I should be getting Turner in as well, because is he... Yeah, beautiful. He's changed to Forest now, so he should be starting for Forest. I should make that move right now. That is one thing that I didn't do since he got moved to Forest in the game. Lovely. Thank you for reminding me, Mark. Chile, Gabriel, Stupinian, Cabore, Bulldog. Mids, Richarlison, Bruno, Rashford, Odegaard, Saka. Very nice midfield. I like the Richarlison differential. Forwards, Haaland, Watkins. Probably the 2 best forward picks, in my opinion. Yeah, very nice team, bro. Very, very nice team. I think Crystal Palace definitely don't have the worst fixtures from a defensive standpoint. Sheffield, they really should be looking to lock in a clean sheet there. Wolves at home, I think, is a great chance for a clean sheet. Being a Wolves fan, it pains me to say that I think we're really going to struggle this season. Fulham at home as well, I think it's a good fixture. Mitrovic is on his way out to the Saudi League. Jimenez has gone to Fulham. He did score in pre-season, but, since that head injury, Jimenez has just never been the same. In terms of who the best 4.5 defender is, I honestly do think it's Rico Henry. That's why I've got him in my team, but we'll go through them as well. Botman is a good one, but just based off the fixtures to start the new season, I'm not a fan. Tyrone Mings could be a good one. He's not got the worst fixtures. Newcastle away, Everton, Burnley, Palace. 3 pretty solid fixtures in the first 5. He's an option to consider. Botman, I think, is a bit more nailed. I prefer him. Henry, obviously, we've got on the team. If you can filter this by ownership, it'd be interesting to see what people are going for. Botman, Baldock, Mings, Bell, Lamptey, Cash. Cash also a decent 4.5. But for me, I think it is probably between Rico Henry, because I like his attacking potential. Tyrone Mings and Botman, I think, would be my 3. You could go Cash, to be fair, but Tyrone Mings, Cash 0.2 XG. Tyrone Mings actually had a pretty decent XG last year. 1 XG, 1 goal, 3 assists last season from centre-back. He's a bit of a threat from corners. Mbuemo and Jackson, or João Pedro and Martinelli. Oof, that's a tough call. I'd probably just go João Pedro and Martinelli, just because I'm not sure how Nicholas Jackson's going to go. Mark Mitrovic is staying at Fulham and he's available for the game versus Everton. Marco Silva said, oh, there you go. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, he was linked very heavily to the Saudi League, and it was interesting to see Fulham sign Jimenez. Clearly they were preparing for some type of move, but interesting to see him stay. Seth, I've got 2 mil in the bank. Reckon it'd be worth upgrading my 4 mil defender to a Rico Henry or Udogie. Yeah, he could potentially start as well. Get some minutes for Spurs. I'll just double check that Spurs predicted lineup. I don't think Udogie was in there, but he's definitely on for some minutes for Tottenham, I reckon. That is their current of predicted defence. I'm not too keen on how accurate that is. If you've got 2 mil and you've got a 4.0 defender, then you could look to upgrade to a 4.5. If you have 2 4.0 defenders, then I'd definitely look to upgrade at least one to a 4.5. I think, yeah, just got the one 4.0 and then Mobama as well. I think a lot of people are playing 2 forwards, so it just depends. If you got 5 mids, whether you got 2 4.0 defenders or one 4.5, one 4.0. It depends if you're using the 2 mil also to save up to upgrade someone else. Like if you got a transfer plan down the line, like you got 2 mil say you got João Pedro or something, you got 2 mil, you want to be able to upgrade to Watkins or someone else like that, or a Darwin Núñez for Bournemouth game week 2, then I'd keep that money in the bank, for example. That's probably the best example I could think of. Actually, we'll chuck VC on Salah as well, make sure that's all sorted. Beautiful. Wolves, no injury news. Still starting goal, or the Italians said they'll get a 50-50 split of games. That's also interesting to see. The Brighton goalkeeper situation. Alvarez will not be available on Saturday for West Ham. Previous bit of a knock in training. Is fit to face Brentford on Sunday. Mickey van der Ven is available for selection, but is not yet fully match fit. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what that Spurs defence is looking like, because they have picked up a few defenders. Seth, now my defence is Chilwell, Stones, Gabriel, and a Stupinian. Chilwell on the bench for the first couple of weeks. Chilwell, Stones, Gabriel, Stupinian. That's a pretty solid defence, yeah. Yeah, Chilwell on the bench game week 1 is good because Stones, Gabriel, and Stupinian have elite fixtures game week 1. Yeah, very, very strong defence. I like it. Apparently, I've heard that Osula from Sheffield United, who's a 4.5 mil forward, could start with Sheffield's injuries and only like 1.2% ownership. Interesting. Interesting to see. Have Sheffield put out any comments on here? I don't believe so. There was Bournemouth. I think we're getting past there. Yeah, I think Mabama as well from West Ham. It could also be a really good pick because Antonio and Ings are very, very injury prone, and he's the next man, so he could be on. Scout selection: Onana, Gabriel, Stones, a Stupinian. So he's got your back 3 there, Mark. Solid back 3: Rashford, Odegaard, Saka, Matoma. Easy money. Haaland, João Pedro, Sammy Johnston, Shaw, Tarkovsky, Wissa. That's a stack bench. Jesus, here's a stack bench. Interesting to see. Yeah, it's also going to be interesting to see this. The Prem's trying to copy the World Cup in terms of added time. I reckon that could see a lot more goals scored in the Prem this season. That's going to be very interesting. Maybe defenders won't be getting as many clean sheets. You never know, just because there's more time to score goals. But yeah. What do I do, lads? I've got easy money, or I've got Matoma. It's between those two, lads. I reckon for this 6.5 mid slot. I could go for a Charleston as well if I freed up 0.5 around the side, because he's going to be playing striker for Spurs. But I don't know how I'll be able to free up 0.5. I'd probably downgrade Onana to a 4.5 keeper. Is the only thing I'd do. But I still think Jose and Matoma will be nice picks. And Richarlison was not great last season for Spurs, to be honest. So it is a little bit of a risk, but he's going to be playing in striker every single game now. Apparently Archer's getting a loan to Sheffield. That'd be huge for him then. He could be a chance for minutes. But yeah, Mobama. He's on 36 minutes last season. I think he could see a lot of minutes off the bench actually, because Skamaka left West Ham. I think, yeah, very rarely I reckon Antonio and Ings are going to be able to consistently play full 90 minutes just because of the age they're getting to. So I think Mabama can make a few more appearances off the bench this season for West Ham, which should be good from an FPL standpoint. Hopefully he doesn't decrease. Or if you can increase to 4.6, 4.7, that'd be very, very handy. To add a little bonus, but at the end of the day, it's not going to make a massive deal. I don't think he's going to go down to 4.4 because his ownership isn't that high. 12%. So I don't think he's going to drop too much in price, which is fine. Johnson and Turner rotate well with their fixtures if you're looking for a 4.5 keeper. That's also a good point, isn't it? I know Pickford and Leno rotated well as two 4.5s, but obviously Turner as a starting 4.0 is huge. And as you say, yeah, Marcus makes a great point. Matoma is probably prone to rotation with the Europe, yeah. Yeah, Brighton are going to have a lot of fixtures this season, that's for sure. And yeah, having João Pedro in there kind of covers me on that Brighton forward line. Matoma's pre-season hasn't been incredible. Eze's pre-season has been really good, and Palace do have some good fixtures to start the year. A bit more differential than Matoma, so it is a risk if Matoma scores well. But I think Eze can match him and even outscore him. It'd be interesting to see who's on PKs as well for Crystal Palace. Because, yeah, I'll have a look at Palace's team. Eze, Eduard, are you... See, who's on pens in this team then? You maybe Eduard's on pens, but Eze, he's on set pieces. Hopefully he gets on pens. That'd be a huge bonus of having Eze there if you can take some pens for Palace. Obviously, Matoma shouldn't have pens for Brighton. Maybe that's the team I go with, lads. I'm pretty happy with this team, to be honest. I have really good flexibility because if I want any player in FPL, all I have to do is downgrade Salah and I can afford any upgrader that I want to, which is really good. That's probably the biggest advantage of having Salah is that you have so much flexibility. Like, say Fernandes does well or Son is a good pick. Maybe I want De Bruyne. I can just do Salah straight to De Bruyne. I want to upgrade to get like a Trent, for example. Drop Salah down. It's like a Martinelli. Chuck in a Trent. We're chilling. So it's very, very easy to make moves with Salah in the team, which is very nice. I think the premium headache has got a little bit easier with Kane leaving as well. I think it's pretty much just between Salah, Haaland and De Bruyne now as my three favourite premiums. Son at 9.0, technically not really a premium price of 10 mil plus, but he could be really good value this season in midfield. It's going to be interesting to see what that Spurs attack looks like without Kane. Are they going to be scoring as many goals, or whether Son actually gets involved more in terms of the goals? Stones, Onana, or Shaw, Edison? That's a tough one. Look, you're spending less on Stones and Onana, so I'd probably go Stones and Onana. But Stones does have that slight chance of rotation, but I'd still be willing to take the risk. So I think he has that ability to be able to play midfield as well, which can increase his chance of starting. Seth, personally, I only have João Pedro, and I'm staying away from doubling up on their attack. Yeah, that's a good call. If you want a differential mid, should get Diaby. Yes, I actually did. Saying that, Mark, I did a FPL draft with a couple of my mates earlier today. And I did actually pick up Diaby in my midfield because I thought he's going to be a great differential. He looked really good in pre-season. I reckon him and Watkins could link up quite a bit at this year. It's going to be interesting to see them play. I think they're going to be a very, very exciting duo. I had him until Kane left and got Richarlison. He is playing as a second striker and did very well in pre-season. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, you lads are on it, Mark and Seth. Yeah, I think he's also a really good pick. What's his price, actually? I haven't paid too much attention to what his price is. 6.5, not a bad price, yeah. He must be very low, yeah, 6.3%. Very low ownership. Newcastle away, to be fair. Not the easiest fixture, but I'm keen to see how he goes. Because his fixtures do get pretty good after that. You know, he could easily be an option that comes in. Looking at those fixtures from now till Gameweek 14, Liverpool away, and maybe Chelsea away here, and probably Spurs away here. Only 3 difficult fixtures from Gameweek 2 to 14, really. So if he makes a fast start, he could be an excellent option to go after. That's for sure. And once again, easy to get to. I can swap either Eze or Mbumo to him. I don't really see Saka, Salah, or Rashford going anywhere in this midfield for quite some time, to be honest. Unless Salah has an absolutely terrible start and he's just not worth a 12.5. But yeah, having João Pedro up top is massive because it's really helped me out in terms of being able to have a strong midfield and still have Salah in there as well. So, João Pedro's an absolute godsend of a pick at 5.5. So, yeah, the deadline is at 1:30 a.m. for me. Gotta love being an Aussie Prem fan. Yeah, exactly, bro. I'm streaming from Australia as well right now. What's the time? Currently 1:30 a.m. for me as well. You in Perth, Seth? You must be in Perth, yeah, because I'm in Melbourne and my deadline's 3:30 a.m. So it's an absolute cooker. Oh, Mark's also an Aussie, like, good to see, lads. Come on. Vic, Odegaard, Martinelli, or Fernandez. I'd probably go Fernandez just because he's on pens. But my next favourite pick would probably be Martinelli. 0.5 cheaper than Odegaard. I think Martinelli should match him for points. And he took a lot of shots last season, Martinelli. But yeah, I think Fernandez probably my favourite pick just because he has free kicks, corners and pens, which is good to see. And yeah, United have some good fixtures to start the year as well. But so do Arsenal. But if I had to pick between the three, to be Fernandez. Same said, yeah, in Perth. What's Perth like? I've never been to Perth, actually. Is it good? Mark, I'm from Oz but live in Japan. Oh, nice. What's Japan? Oh, whereabouts? Tokyo? Kyoto? Bazinga and Enciso. I'm not a fan of Enciso, to be honest. Get off that. I don't think he's going to start for Brighton. I'm not sure about his minutes. I think João Pedro is definitely going to be their striker up top. In terms of their midfield, yes, they have had a couple of players leave. The comments around Caicedo from Brighton's manager was that he was ignoring him, I believe, and just considering him gone from the team. Was that up here? Where were those comments? Here it is. The Zerbi has already forgotten about Caicedo, who won't play versus Luton. Webster and Lallana face late fitness tests. So Lallana could potentially slot into the midfield. You'd assume Gross would be in there. March, Matoma will be in there. And Ciso may get the nod, but Benavente as well could potentially play. So we'll see. Lana, yeah, as you say, faces late fitness test. He could start. And Ciso's a big risk. At just 1 mil more, you could get Matoma, or you could just go for João Pedro up top at 5.5 as well. I think it's a bit safer. I don't think Enciso, it's just at a weird price for Enciso, 5.5. 1 mil more, you can get a good 6.5 mid, and there's a lot of good 6.5 options. Madison, I reckon he could tear it up for Spurs this season, honestly. He could. I reckon he can put up very, very similar numbers to Christian Eriksen. I'll pull up Eriksen's numbers when he was at Spurs. His best season: 8 goals, 20 assists season, 11 goals, 10 assists season, 6 goals, 16 assists season. Obviously without Kane, Madison's probably going to get less assists because he's going to be giving the ball to Richarlison, but I don't really see why he couldn't have similar numbers here to Eriksen, like in terms of 11 goals, 10 assists. Like, he should be aiming for double digits, both goals and assists, Madison. And if he is, he will be getting close to 200 points. Like, Eriksen was elite, like 180 points over 200, basically 200, 160. I don't think there's any reason why Madison couldn't be doing the same thing in that Spurs attack. Because obviously, yes, they don't have Kane, but he's still got Son there to give the ball to and receive the ball from. You can feed in Richarlison. Kulusevski's definitely a handy player as well. It's also going to be interesting to see who takes pens and free kicks. Now, I think Madison should definitely be on free kicks for Spurs, but in terms of what their pen taker is, I reckon Son could be on pens now for Tottenham. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do there. But Madison, one to look out for. I probably wouldn't have him in my starting team just because I think he's too much of a risk, but yeah, one to look out for. I think you should go to Alex Vingos at this point. After I've seen his 90th minute winner to win the title. Oh, clutch. Get him on bonus points. Market's 12:33. Oh yeah, because you're what, 2 hours or 1 hour behind? Got you. What's everyone saying on the poll as well? Skipper, 78%. Haaland. If you haven't put your vote in on the poll, please do. Haaland 78%. Salah 8. Rashford 5. Other. If everyone has picked other as captain, it'd be interesting to see who they've captained. I reckon Saka also a decent differential shout as captain. Forest at home. Not bad. I reckon captains between Salah if you have him, Saka, Haaland and Rashford, but I think it's very ballsy to have anyone except for Haaland, to be honest. Like, if Haaland's fit to play, like I don't even see myself taking Haaland off captain all season, to be honest. He's just that good and he's so consistent. I think Richarlison could be on pens. Yeah, if he is, absolute bargain at 7 mil in midfield if he can actually start taking his chances. He could be one to look out for. Spurs have a good run of fixtures here, but apart from that, not great. Brentford away, it's an okay fixture. United should be pretty solid defensively this season. Arsenal always solid. I think Liverpool should be a lot better defensively this year. But 3 good fixtures here for him to pick up goals. But yeah, definitely going to be an interesting one with that Spurs dynamic in the forward line with no Kane now. Because he was an absolute carry for them for so long. I think Spurs could struggle a lot more to score goals this season because everything was based around Kane. And Kane was a huge, like, he was scoring, assisting, everything. But yeah, I reckon I am happy with Eze over Matoma here. Pretty good numbers last season. 10 goals, 5 assists. Hopefully he's on pens. We'll have to see. He's on free kicks, on corners. He is pretty clinical as well. 7 XG, 10 goals. 3 XA, 5 assists. Nice to see. Seth, not captaining last year was the death of me. Yeah, I think there was only a few game weeks where I didn't captain him, which was right at the end of last season. Can you see previous? Oh no, it just has the previous seasons. 93, 146. Didn't play really much there. But yeah, at the end of last season, I think I had Salah on captain a couple times. We had a good end to last year. And that was pretty much it. That was the only time I didn't have. I think I actually took out Haaland for my team a couple times. Oh, I think I had him out once at the back end of last season. And that was about it. I think when Man City had a blank game week. Mark, do you watch AFL? And if so, who do you support? I'm not very happy because I'm a Geelong supporter and we just lost to Collingwood. And yeah, I'm a big fan of the footy. We're on the verge. Why can we going to miss finals? I've got to be honest. I'm not been a fan of the lads this season. I've been dreadful this year. Our midfield's terrible. Dangerfield and Atkins were actually good tonight, but apart from that, useless. That offence is a shambles. I feel bad for Tom Stewart back there. He's got some absolute mugs playing next to him. But I reckon Collingwood are going to win this year. They're too good. They're too good. I think it's between Collingwood and Melbourne. I don't think Port can win at the MCG, so it's probably between Collingwood and Melbourne. Mateus Cunha should be good to face Man U on Monday. Good to see. I reckon Wolves also have a chance for relegation this season. Wolves are also a chance for relegation, but I think there is a lot of bad teams in the Prem this year. Like, I think West Ham will struggle without Rice. Bournemouth should struggle. Forest should struggle. Burnley should struggle. Fulham, I reckon, will struggle. Sheffield will struggle. Wolves will struggle. So I reckon there could be a lot of teams. At least we're not West Coast. Yeah, that's true. At least we're not West Coast. I'm a dog supporter, and I think the last game of the year decides finals. Yeah, dogs also on the brink of making or missing finals. I hope you guys do, because you're very good to watch. One of my favorite teams to watch, I'd say, actually. How good's Bont, though? If he doesn't win the Brownlow, that's ridiculous. I think Bont deserves it. Dacos getting injured, I reckon Bont takes it. If not, Petrarca. But yeah, if Seth, if you're a West Coast fan, that's tough. That is a tough life. You got Perth Derby coming up though pretty soon against Fremantle. This week actually, Perth Derby. Surely West Coast get up for a big derby win. That'd be huge. Also, lads, if you're liking the stream, leave a like and subscribe to the channel as well. We at 11.5. We're trying to get to 12k subs by Gameweek 5. Hopefully we can get to 12k. That'd be awesome. I'm trying to see. I think I'm pretty happy with this team. I'm pretty set on the team here. Bulldogs and Geelong have the 2 longest finals qualification streaks in the comp. There you go. Yeah, to be fair, Geelong, you can see that we're on our downfall now. But to be honest, like, they've been pretty good for the last 20 years that I've been alive, so I can't really complain. Like, we've hardly missed finals. I've seen us win 3 premierships. We've had one of the best home and away records over the last 15 years, so I'm happy now, especially after winning the grand final last year. If we, have a rebuild, because yeah, I've seen enough success. I'm pretty happy. Can't complain. Can't keep being top 4, top 8 forever, I guess, and win premierships forever. So if Bont doesn't win the Brownlow, she would have been robbed 2 times. Yeah, when Wines won it was the year when Wines won it that Bont got absolutely robbed. Ollie Wines has got to be one of the worst players to win the Brownlow ever, honestly. I cannot believe he won the Brownlow that year. And even last year, Cripps was not as bad as Wines winning it, but I thought Oliver was pretty good last year as well. But yeah, Bont should have definitely won it the year that Wines won. I think, what do you have, 33 votes and didn't win? That's ridiculous. What's with Charleston's ownership now, actually? Is it still low? %4 ownership. Yeah, it could be an interesting one to start the season. What is a template team? Anana, Areola, Estupiñán, Gabriel, Trippier, Stones, Shaw, Saka, Rashford, Matoma, Fernandez, Salah, and Harlan Watkins. Yeah, pretty stock standard. Now I'm happy with the team though, because Eze is a solid differential, 18% ownership. I'm happy with that differential. João Pedro is pretty template now, and Buemo's pretty good differential, 8% ownership, and he's been cleared to play. Henry, he's obviously a differential, but he's not starting this week. And Chilwell, a solid differential as well, 12.8%. Salah, not really technically a differential, but to see his ownership this low, it's crazy, 27%. But then I've got the template picks, obviously Saka, João Pedro, Haaland, Salah, Rashford, Estupiñán, Gabriel, and Nana. So I'm pretty happy with the balance on the side. A lot of good midfield picks this season. Hopefully Fernandez doesn't absolutely haul and cook me. I remember last season or the season before, I went for Sadio Mane over Fernandes, and game week 1, Fernandes scored a hat-trick versus Leeds and had like 20 plus points, and Mane blanked against Norwich, which was brilliant. So hopefully Fernandes doesn't do that again, especially against Wolves. It'll just pain me to see Fernandes score against Wolves, especially. Mark, I got to head off. It was nice chatting with you. I wish you all the best with FPL. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, I appreciate you tuning in, bro. Really, bro, I appreciate the support, appreciate the comments and everything. Yeah, good to see you. You've been a fan for so long as well. It's huge. Thank you so much. Yeah, also interesting to see with this Moses Caicedo deal. He said that he only wanted to go to Chelsea. He's rejected Liverpool. I thought that was a bit harsh. That's kind of funny. Bournemouth, no one's really looking at Bournemouth options, to be honest. Any other team news? Wolves, no injuries. Steele, 50-50 to start. Webster and Lallana. Lallana could be in that midfield. Paqueta valued at more than what Man City offered. Richarlison's fit to face Brentford, and Boomo and Rico Henry are good to go, available to start. Will Hughes knock, Franco knock. Elise hamstring will miss the trip to Sheffield. Tyrick Mitchell and Decore didn't provide updates. Alright. Malacia, no need to know about Mane or Diallo. Dean Henderson and Holland will be out of action for a few weeks, but Harry Maguire is available for selection. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Holland does. How much is his price actually as well? Do you have to type in though? 7.0. If he say comes back around game week 3, game week 4, obviously Arsenal away, not the easiest fixture, but pretty good fixtures around that, to be honest. All the way up until game week 13-ish. He has some pretty good fixtures for United. I think now that he's their recognised striker, could be a really good option to consider. So maybe freeing up a little bit of money down the line, game week 4-5 time. If I could free up about 1.5 mil, switch Pedro to Holland, that could definitely be a move that we look to make. I'm quite the opposite. I hope Bruno does well and not Salah. Yeah, exactly. That's the battle that the decision that I've made essentially, because the team was initially Fernandes was in there, and then what else did I have? That's giving me 4 mil in the bank. I think I upgraded Eze was someone else, was another 8.0. I think it might have been Eze, might have been Martinelli, I believe was the move. Yeah, I think I was tossing up either Martinelli or Fernandes or Salah and Eze, and I just went for Salah and Eze. I think Salah hopefully can quite significantly outscore Fernandes to start the season, hopefully. And I think Martinelli will outscore Eze by a little bit, but if Eze can keep it similar type of point scoring to Martinelli, we should be okay. But the good thing is, with having Salah in, worst comes to worst, we can just go to Fernandes. No worries. We could even do, I believe, yeah, we should be able to, could even do like Fernandes, what, 10.5. So we could go Son. We could even go De Bruyne. Son could be a solid differential there as well. 9 mil. 5% ownership. Brentford, Man U, Bournemouth, Burnley, Sheffield. 5 solid fixtures to start there. He does historically do very well against Man U, actually, Son. Doesn't mind a goal against Man U. Back-to-back 200-point seasons before last year, which is a very stinky season by his standards. Price is really good. Hopefully he gets more goals now without Kane, but it's probably going to be more of a wait and see what that Spurs attack's like without Kane in there. But that could be an alternative variation of the team. Then it gives us 1.5 left in the bank, which does allow us to upgrade João Pedro later on in the season if we need to. We could even go to Watkins as well. I definitely would prefer Watkins to João Pedro, but just don't have enough money for it. Maybe I could look to go Watkins Gameweek 5 onwards when those Villa fixtures get really, really good. That's pretty much soon after Liverpool away. They've got some great fixtures. I could go after him. I think that's probably a transfer plan that I could look to make. Also, Wildcard will come in around that time as well, before it expires around Gameweek 17, 18. Gavardio and Ake ready for Premier League Open. It's also going to be interesting to see what that City defence is like. Obviously, they've just signed Gavardio. They've got so many centre-backs back there. Like Stones, Diaz, Ake, Kanji. Now Gavardio. Laporte's always there, but he always seems to be an injury doubt. Kai Walker's there. He can play a bit everywhere. Odegaard or Martinelli, just couldn't decide. I'd probably pick Martinelli between the two. I like the 0.5 mil price difference, that Martinelli is a bit cheaper. And looking at his numbers last season, he was very, very similar numbers to Odegaard. I think he will match him for points, and he is cheaper, so I do prefer Martinelli. I've been really liking Sancho as our false 9. Yeah, I think once you get a recognised striker, I think you should be banging in the goals as well for Man U. Nico, do you reckon you'll change your team, or do you use your final team selection from the last video? I think from the final team selection, was there any changes? Or was this the team? I think maybe Eze is the only change. Most times throughout the season, though, I will use the final team selection because I have my transfer plans locked in. But just because this is the start of the season, I don't have unlimited transfers. I'm always tinkering. The only changes I think I made from the final team selection was Turner in and Baldock in, and that was because there was news after the team selection was recorded that Turner went to Forest. Baldock's, well, there was no team news about him, but he's got a really good chance to play, so I'm happy to have him. And I think Eze was another one. But yeah, throughout the season, the team selection video for the week will be the team selection for the game week. And that's also the case because most of the time there is not going to be any transfers being made. I think this team here will be the same team as well for game week 2. I'm happy to play Chilwell this week against Liverpool at home. Obviously, it's not ideal, but it's something you have to make work with Salah in the team. And even if he doesn't get a clean sheet, he's always a chance to get forward. He was really good in pre-season, actually. Picked up a lot of attacking returns for Chelsea and looked pretty dangerous. So I'm happy to have Chilwell playing. And then, yeah, he's got good fixtures after that. Chelsea's fixtures are so good. I'm happy to have a Chelsea defender. And hopefully they're a lot more solid under some new management. They've got great fixtures from game weeks 2 through 8. They face 2 of the 3 promoted teams. And they face all 3 promoted teams from last year and 2 promoted teams from this year. So, pretty good. Game week 9 would probably be looking to get him out, though. Game weeks 9 through 15. I could look to switch to like a Trent or a Robertson if I can free up that amount of money. 2.5 mil, though, will need to be freed up. Look at Liverpool's fixtures from 9 through 15. I was looking at these earlier. They're very, very nice. So that's a transfer plan we could look to make Chilwell to Trent or Robbo around that time. We could free up money in the team. Once again, if we wanted to downgrade Salah, that allows us to free up a little bit more money. How many people are in your mini league? Can you actually see how many people are in your mini league? Because when you go to the leagues, bang, you can't. Oh, there you are. Bang, Seth. I don't know. You just keep scrolling and you keep going to the next page. But I don't know how many. I actually don't know where you can see how many people are in your league. Like, you just keep scrolling. I know there's thousands of people in the league. I'm pretty sure. There's like 1 million pages of this that just keep going. Well, there's quite a few, actually. I should we should also do some prizes for the mini league. I reckon we should sort out some prizes for the mini league for like top 5 or something, top 3, top 5. Maybe like a little weekly prize, like top scorer in a week. It's a little shout out or something like that. Should do something like that to make the mini league a bit more fun. That is one thing that I want to try and do this season, is make the mini league a bit more exciting. Let me know your guys' thoughts. What type of situation would you do with mini league prizing and everything? Thoughts on Richarlison? I'll do him or Mbumo. Look, I'd probably prefer Mbumo because, first of all, I know he's on penalties for Brentford. I think Richarlison is a shout for pens for Spurs, but to be fair, they do have other solid options in their team for pens. I think Brentford have some good fixtures to start the season as well. Very good fixtures in the first 4 game weeks especially. And Boomer is 0.5 cheaper, and I think Richarlison, there's just a little bit of uncertainty. Obviously, he will be playing striker, but I want to wait and see how he goes for Spurs first without Harry Kane, and then go from there. But I'll probably be starting with Mbumo, to be honest. I think I'm a massive fan of him. 9 goals, 8 assists last year. 9 goals, 9 assists last year, sorry. Without Tony, those numbers are only going to increase. On PKs, I'm a huge fan of him. I think he's going to be really good. Super low ownership, 8%. He was one of the most popular midfield picks when FPL first got launched, and everyone's just kind of gradually moved off him. But I think he's such a good shout. I'm not too sure why so many people have gone off him. Maybe because he got flagged, and he was flagged yellow for about a week before FPL, as we got closer to the Gameweek 1 deadline. But 8% ownership for Mbumo, I think, is a bit harsh. I reckon he's a very good option to start this season. Also, Wisser as well for Brentford up top. He should also be banging the goals for them. What's the time now? 2 a.m. Deadline's what, 3:30? Yeah. But yeah, I think I do like Mbumo. He's definitely my favourite Brentford option. I prefer him over Wisser as well, just because he is midfielder, gets those extra points. And then João Pedro up top. For now, I'm happy with. This is not ideal having João Pedro there, but 24% ownership. A lot of people, or nearly 25% ownership. A lot of people back him in, and having him there does allow me to have a fairly strong midfield that still has Salah in it. And I don't have to worry about having Matoma because I've got the Brighton attack covered. So there's a lot of upside to having João Pedro, but he is a player that I will look to upgrade when Brighton don't have the best fixtures. Potentially game week 4-5, I look to get him out. Yes, they have Bournemouth at home there, but the rest of the fixtures around game week 4 onwards aren't very good. So he's a potential 3 game week punt type of player. And then I could look to upgrade him. I do currently have 0 left in the bank. I roll the transfer next week. I have 2 free transfers for game week 3. Could just I'll use 1, roll the second one, have 2 free transfers. Then I can get rid of João Pedro. If Holland is back, hopefully he is. Around that time, he could be an option at 7 mil. Jackson could be good as well. If he starts well for Chelsea, I could look to go for him. I'm guessing Havertz is going to play up top for Arsenal, but if Nketiah does, then maybe I could go for Nketiah. Or I could just try and free up even more money and go to Ollie Watkins, but that will require 2.5 mil to be sorted from somewhere, which could be tough to find without downgrading Mo Salah. That is definitely something to think about. So Watkins may be off the cards there. 1.5 mil, a little bit easier. I could just drop down either Eze or Mbumo to a 4.5 mid. And then upgrade João Pedro to Holland. But as always, I can just drop down Salah if there is any major concerns with the team. But I'm happy with João Pedro for now.
if he can score consistently hot in the first 3 weeks, Newcastle at home, yes, Newcastle's not the easiest fixture, but they didn't have a great end to last season defensively, and it is a home fixture. Man U away is not great. I could drop him to the bench and play a one striker formation. Play Rico Henry game week 5. Brentford have Newcastle away game week 5. It's not a great fixture, is it either, to be honest? So I may potentially have to play him that week. Bournemouth at home is good. Villa away. Who do Brentford have game week 7? Forest away, so I could play Rico Henry there. Brighton's fixtures. Liverpool at home, Man City away, so I kind of need a good replacement there. Game week 8, 9. Man U away, game week 8. Burnley at home, game week 9. So I've got a good replacement there, game week 9. Baldock may have to be a player that we can rotate in. Game week 8, Fulham away, that could work. So we can definitely make João Pedro work for a longer period of time. Also, with this team as well, the wild card is always a good possibility around game week 7, 8. It could even be used as early as game week 5 because a lot of teams have a really good fixture swing game week 5 and a lot of teams have a bad fixture swing around game week 5. For example, Brighton. I've got a Stupinian in defence. I think it'll be tough for them to pick up clean sheets around game week 4, 5. Newcastle, Man U. That should be probably a clean sheet there. That's probably not a clean sheet. That's probably not a clean sheet. Neither is that. So getting rid of those Brighton lads around game week 5. It's got okay fixtures all throughout. Chelsea's fixtures are really good, so I could look to wildcarding more Chelsea players around game week 5 because their fixtures are really good for quite for 4 or 5 game weeks there. So an early wildcard could definitely be an option. I believe Spurs also have a good fixture swing around that time. Arsenal's fixtures are pretty good throughout. It's not too much concern there. Liverpool's fixtures do get really good around game week 5 as well, so I could look to wildcard and get even more Liverpool players. Obviously, we have Mo Salah, but getting in Trent and maybe even one other Liverpool attacker, whoever's getting minutes, whether that's like Gakpo, Jota, Darwin Núñez. I could look to get in one more of those guys. Man City's fixtures, I think regardless of their fixtures, they'll be really good, but also around game week 5, if De Bruyne has had a great start to the season, I could look to get him in. West Ham away, Forest home, Wolves away. De Bruyne had that 4-goal game against Wolves away a couple seasons ago. That still gives me nightmares as a Wolves fan. So maybe an early wildcard around game week 5, 6 could be the way forward. Get rid of the Brighton lads. Go after some Liverpool players, some Arsenal players, some Chelsea players, some Man City players. Spurs, I believe, have some pretty good fixtures from game week 5. Sheffield there, Arsenal, Liverpool after that. But then they do get pretty good. Luton, Fulham, Crystal Palace. So if some Spurs lads such as Son, Madison, Richarlison, if he's firing, maybe their defence as well. Pedro Porro, if he's banging in goals, getting assists from fullback, he could be an option to go for. So that could potentially be the strategy for this team. Could also look to get in Fernandes then as well. Man U's fixtures do get pretty good. They're okay to start. Wolves, generally a fairly solid defensive outfit, but will be interesting this season. Spurs away is tougher fixture, so is Arsenal. But then Brighton, Burnley, Palace, Brentford, Sheffield. 5 pretty good fixtures in a row. So maybe I could look to add in Luke Shaw, add in Fernandes on a wild card. That could be something to do as well. But definitely in the short term, this team is really nice. I think and that's another reason I'm happy with Eze. I think a triple up on Brighton, a little bit excessive because their fixtures for the first 3 are good, but after that they do drop off very, very quickly. So by having Matoma, it really does provide some pressure on having to use a wild card early, because then I've got 3 players with some terrible fixtures for 4 or 5 weeks, and obviously the bench at this time of the season isn't very strong. I can't afford to have 3 players with a terrible fixture because I can't just put in all these three bench lads. I ideally don't want to have to use Baldock or Mabama or Henry too much at the start of the season. Calvin FPL, alright mate, how you going? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, doing well, doing very well. It's getting a little bit late though, 2:06 a.m. right now in Australia. Got to hustle for the deadline stream, 3:30 a.m. deadline stream, and 5 a.m. is the first fixture. So, always Game Week 1 deadline stream is a painful one to do. But, has to get it done, I have to get it done. And I like doing a stream as well, it's good fun. But yeah, I'm pretty set on this team, you know. Looking at the midfield, as a potential pen taker, Salah's a pen taker, Saka's a pen taker, and Mbumo's a pen taker. For Brighton, João Pedro's probably a pen taker, Haaland's a pen taker, Rashford isn't, but he's just elite. And then I've got, I'm pretty happy with the defence, pretty standard defence. A lot of people have this back three. Peps, Watkins, and Chilwell. Okay, or Stones and Jackson. I'd probably go Watkins and Chilwell. I think Chilwell will outscore Stones just because based off his good attacking potential. And I think Watkins should outscore Jackson as well. Watkins, a lot more certainty around him. He's a certified Premier League baller. We'll have to see how Jackson goes in the Prem. But I think Watkins is a lot safer pick. And yeah, Chile, obviously he's a little bit injury prone, but his attacking threat is really, really good. He's had a great pre-season for Chelsea as well. Plus the Gameweek 2 fixtures through 8, Gameweek 2 through 8, elite. West Ham, Luton, Forest, Bournemouth, Villa, Fulham, Burnley. They really should be looking to get at least 4 clean sheets in those 8 fixtures, to be honest. And Chile hopefully can get amongst the goals and assists regardless of the fixture. But yeah, probably Watkins and Chilwell. No worries. All good. I'm trying to see any other team news. Gabriel Jesus and Oneni are the only players definitively ruled out. Zinchenko has also been back in training after missing the entire preseason program. It'll be interesting to see what Arsenal do with their fullback situation. Obviously, Timber's in there. He has typically played majority centre-back and right-back in the Eredivisie, but I think he is going to be playing left-back for a little bit without Zinchenko, and Ben White will stay at right-back. So, yeah, when Zinchenko's back, it's going to be a bit of a toss-up to see who Arteta does prefer as his fullbacks, whether he's going to stick with Zinchenko and Ben White, or he's going to go Timber and Ben White, or maybe White, or maybe Timber and Zinchenko. Chelsea, no team news in Pochettino's press conference. Kepa is currently a little bit ahead of Sanchez, and Nkunku will be sidelined until December. So Jackson should be getting a lot of time up top. Who's best 4.5 defender? Dogi, Cash, Botman, Colwill. Bournemouth team news, no one cares. No one has any Bournemouth players. And that's just about all the team news, isn't it? Yeah, it'd be interesting to see when Holland comes back as well. If he's out of action for a few weeks. When he comes back, he could be a really good forward pick. It'll be good to see what managers do when he comes back. He could definitely be an option that people look to get in the forward line, especially since João Pedro is 5.5. You got to have to free up a little bit of money, or quite a bit of money, should I say, to be able to upgrade him to another forward. Obviously, you got Jackson at 7, but Holland there at 7 as well. Darwin Núñez at 7.5. He can make a good start to the season for Liverpool and gets a lot more nailed minutes. And even obviously Watkins at 8, that's 2.5 mil more. Watkins from Joe. Watkins and Mbumo, or Richarlison and Nicholas Jackson. I'd probably go Watkins and Mbumo as well. Just because Richarlison and Nicholas Jackson, there's a lot of uncertainty around them. Obviously, Richarlison, new role without Kane. Nicholas Jackson, first year in the Prem. It's going to be interesting to see how he goes. Watkins, certified Prem baller. We know what to expect from Watkins. He's on PKs. Great goal scorer. Villa have good fixtures. And Burmo's also on penalties as well for Brentford. And he's got good fixtures. So I think I'd probably go for Watkins and Mbumo between the two as well. But yeah, Richarlison and Nicholas Jackson, two solid differentials. Definitely a lot more risky picks. If you wanted to play it more risky, go the high risk, high reward route. You could go Richarlison and Jackson, but I'd go for Watkins and Mbumo. I just think they will score more points. And they are a bit safer as well. You covering Watkins, who's got the second highest ownership amongst forwards. And Mbumo's a big differential, but I'm not sure why his ownership's so low, to be honest. I think it does deserve to be higher. It was like mid-20s at the start of the season when FPL launched, only 8.4% ownership at the moment. For his fixtures, he should be making a good start to the season without Tony. Spurs at home is a pretty good fixture. Fulham away is good. Palace and Bournemouth both at home. Two great chances for goals for Mbumo. Newcastle away, that's a tough one, I'll give you that. Everton at home is a good fixture though. Forest away is also a good fixture. So really, out of the first 7 game weeks, he's got 6 quality fixtures there. So I think Mbumo can make a fast start this season. Peps, I'm from Italy. Oh, nice. Italy is such a nice country. Whereabouts? And do you go for a Serie A team? If so, who do you go for? I saw there was a recent thing about Juventus, invading the pitch, and they didn't want Lukaku. That was crazy. I couldn't believe that happened. Imagine being Lukaku and seeing that. This could be the most demoralizing thing ever. It's like people don't want you that much. That's cooked. Yeah, I don't think this team changes, honestly. Obviously, without Salah, I would have a lot more bench depth, and I could probably upgrade Pedro to Watkins. Bang bang. Let's go Salah. Fernandez. 1.5. I could upgrade Eze to an 8.0, but I like the money in the bank. I could do that. Salah and Pedro, or Fernandez and Watkins. That's a potential toss-up that I look to make. Obviously, Salah's very high risk, high reward. Because obviously Watkins, he's going to be a good option for a long period of time. I don't really have to worry about transferring him out unless he's in a terrible goal scoring patch and I want to make a downgrade to like a Nicholas Jackson or something if he makes a good start to the season. But by having Salah and João Pedro, I have 0 left in the bank. So the only real way I can upgrade João Pedro once he has this bad fixture turn and I want to get rid of him is probably by getting rid of Salah. So then maybe the debate is, do I just start without Salah? He does have Chelsea away. He does always seem to do well Gameweek 1. Then he has Bournemouth at home. Newcastle away is kind of tough. But then, yeah, for Gameweek 4 onwards, Liverpool's fixtures are quite good. So I would be looking to get into Salah around that time. So yeah, I went without Salah. And I wanted to go... So I just had Fernandez here. And Watkins like this. So we come around to Gameweek 3, Gameweek 4. I'm like, oh, now's the time I want to get Salah in. Fernandez is probably the player that comes back out, right? So chuck in Salah there. That gives us 5.5 for forward. And there's not really any 5.5 forwards that I want at that point. Because Brighton's fixtures aren't very good. I'm not going to bring in João Pedro for game week 4, Newcastle at home, then Man U away, Villa away, Liverpool at home, Man City away. So I'd probably have to make another downgrade to get in Salah. Game week 4 maybe I'd get rid of Eze, but that's like, it's a 3-week punt on Eze. Is that worth it? How's my Roma fan? Oh, nice. Whereabouts in Australia are you from? I'm from Melbourne. Seth, got to head out. Hope stream goes well. Appreciate you tuning in, Seth, and appreciate the comments as well. Yeah, good luck with FPL for Game Week 1, everyone. And Seth as well, appreciate your support, bro. For real, it was really good. So I wanted to get Salah in. I don't want to drop a Nana down either. So I go like Eze out. And then that gives me what? See, I still can't even get Watkins. I can get Jackson. Like this, bang bang. Give me 5.0 for a min. I'd probably just go for a 4.5 anyway. When the canvas 4.5, just chuck him in there. And there's not much bench depth. Is there? Baldock and a Kamba Obama. I think the only real way you could get Salah in, you don't have him to start the season and you want him, is to wildcard. And the only way I can get Pedro out Game Week 4 is to wildcard as well, I'd have to say. Unless I can free up 1.5 mil from somewhere. Maybe I drop down a Nana, get a 4.5. That gives me... Let's just put in a 4.5, for example. Pickford, save. Gives me 6. Still not many great forward options at 6. Maybe I have to drop down either Mbuemo or Eze. Not ideal. I don't want to drop down Chilwell in Game Week 4 because his fixtures are really good. So I also just rotate around Henry into the squad, and João Pedro has bad fixtures, and then hold on to that onto João Pedro until I need a wild card. That could be a move, actually. I reckon that's what we do. So game weeks 1, 2, 3. We can play João Pedro. Game week 4, could be still potentially play him. It's just, yeah, getting Salah in is going to be a pain without a wild card. I think, yeah, Game Week 5 wild card on the cards, whether I have Salah in there or not. So if I don't have Salah in, I'm going to want a wild card out Pedro, and probably these mids get some more Man U, Man City, Chelsea players in, maybe even Spurs players as well. And if I don't have Salah in, then I'm going to want a wild card out whoever I can in the midfield to get most Salah in. So then maybe I just drop down Chilwell. Chilwell has to be a player we drop down, which is unfortunate because his fixtures are really good. They just start getting good around Game Week 5. Maybe no style is the way to start the season. Maybe it is. This is a decision that I can't seem to make. Do I go for Fernandez here? I could still stick with João Pedro for a bit, and I can easily afford to upgrade to Watkins. Do I need to? Oh, we stick with Salah for now. We stick with Salah for now. We look to rotate in Fernandez later if we need to upgrade João Pedro. And then we're laughing. Yeah, marking us what we do. Wolves away. Look, Salah doesn't do great when it's Wolves away. So we can look to get him out Gameweek 5. West Ham at home is a good fixture, but Spurs by Brighton away aren't great fixtures either. So maybe look to hold Salah first 4 weeks. If he's not working out, we switch to Fernandez. When Man U's fixtures start getting good Gameweek 5 as well. Yeah, that's the play. That is the play, lads. I love it. Love it. And then we can upgrade João Pedro. Perfect. Very, very happy with his team. Finn, thoughts on my team? Edison, Gabriel, Shaw, Estupiñán. Very nice defence and goalkeeper. March, Bruno, Saka, Martinelli, Richarlison, Haaland, Watkins, Chilwell, Kabore. I like the team a lot. March would be the only concern that I have. Yeah, he'd be the only one. I think Eze at the same price as well. I think it could be worthwhile going for, honestly, over March. March hasn't had a great pre-season. Eze's been really good. I think Eze could be a really good pick, but otherwise a really good side. I like the Richarlison and Martinelli differentials. Haaland and Watkins, very, very good forward line. Chilwell on the bench is really handy to have. You can rotate him around. And other lads don't have good fixtures, but yeah, really good team. But I think, yeah, at 6.5, there are better midfield options. Do you have Mbuemo in there? You could go Mbuemo as well. Either Mbuemo, Eze, or Matoma. Probably either of those three instead of March. 0.5 left in the bank. Yeah, that's handy as well. You can leave the 0.5 there. And just switch March. Haaland blank. I haven't seen anything about Haaland blank. Oh, in terms of his FPL points. If Haaland blank's Gameweek 1, that's ridiculous. 79% of people got him on captaincy. That's about 150 votes. Salah next with 11%. Rashford 3, other 7%. I'm guessing Saka, he's another popular captain option. Everyone's going to have Haaland captain this week for sure. What's his ownership? It's going to be close to 100% at this point. 90% ownership. That's crazy. That is crazy ownership levels. Yeah, it's just it's just ridiculous how good he is. Everyone's just going to have him captain every single week. You just got to hope that the rest of your team do well as well. Salah could be a good captaincy option in a few weeks for me. He could potentially be a captaincy shout game week 2, Bournemouth at home. Haaland does have Newcastle at home. That's probably the only time I debate whether I want to not captain Haaland. Because I'm pretty much going to have him captain every single other week.
Salah with Bournemouth at home. He did actually blank against Bournemouth at home last season, despite Liverpool scoring 9. Somehow Salah didn't get involved in any of those goals, which is crazy. But yeah, maybe Salah captain Gameweek 2. It's the only time we don't have Haaland captain, because this man is such a beast. Where'd you come last year? We came 130, 140k last year, where we were 90k the season before. But last year, what really messes up last year was Salah missing 2 penalties when we had him on captaincy for those weeks. Because we took a punt on taking Salah captain once against Bournemouth away, and then we had him against, I think it was the fixture against Arsenal at home. He missed a penalty. And that would have given us enough points to put us well inside the top 100k. But unfortunately, he missed those 2 penalties in a row. Cooked us. But yeah, 90k the previous season was pretty good. But yeah, 130, 140k last year. It's not great. But FPL is getting a lot harder, actually. There's a lot more people playing. 7.8 mil to start this season. That'll definitely get above 11, 12 mil, I reckon, by the end of the year, for sure. But yeah, that's pretty much all we've got for today's live stream. I've gone pretty much over everything, all the team news, all the predicted lineups. I also thank you to everyone that has tuned into the stream, left a comment. I really do appreciate it. And we will be posting all the FPL videos as per usual, starting Sunday with the knee jerk, Monday with the buy, sell, Tuesday team selection, all that, all the good stuff, transfer plans, everything. So stay posted with that. Good luck to everyone for Gameweek on the FPL. With that being said, I'll see you guys on Sunday for our FPL video.